Hello, beautiful creatives. I have some exciting news for you today. I have finally taken the plunge and opened a Patreon account, and I'm so excited. I have been sharing over there like crazy. I did a soft launch where I posted a link to it on Instagram. I don't have that many YouTube followers, I don't think, that follow me on Instagram. So I figured it would be a soft way to launch it so I could iron out any wrinkles that might be in it. And some of you have joined, and I'm having so much fun posting there. Yesterday I was doing an intuitive painting session for my Patreons, and I filmed the whole session and posted it there. Let me set my camera up so I'm not wobbling it all around on my selfie stick here, which I'm terrible with using selfie sticks. So I'm going to flip the camera around and I'm going to tell you a little bit about my new Patreon account. I'm so excited. First, let me just show you my desk because I just have had so much fun. I yesterday did a mixed media painting where I got out all kinds of stuff and I painted this spread and filmed the whole painting session, and I'm going to be posting that on my Patreon account probably later today or tomorrow. So I've been showing little videos of things that I've been working on in my art journals, and updates about how my doggie's doing. My dog's been very sick. But sketching that I do in the evening that I don't always show these things on Instagram. I mean, YouTube. I don't always show these things on YouTube. Just sort of fun stuff. So I do sort of frequent flip throughs through my art journals. I show the work that I'm doing in my art nest, and then I'm filming more full-length content of process videos, painting process videos. Anyways, let me put the camera on a stand and I will fill you in on a little bit more info about my new Patreon account. I've been posting a lot of just little daily life glimpse posts, but I'm really excited to share with you that I'm going to have this new space to be creating and sharing work in a different way than I have been comfortable sharing on YouTube. Most of my followers that have been following me for a while know that my husband and I have been going through a very difficult time. We discovered that there was mold in our house and that we both had mold illness, which had been making us sick for quite a long time. And we needed to create a place for us to live. Our dogs ended up getting sick, and it's been a long, crazy haul. Because my husband has been sick, he has not been able to work as much. So we had a lot of long, difficult discussions on whether I needed to give up my YouTube channel, which is kind of a money suck for me right now because I need to buy microphones and update, there's subscriptions like Epidemic Sound for the music, and the editing subscription where I do to the app where I do my editing. There's so much behind the scenes money that just gets drained into these YouTube accounts. So we had discussions about whether I needed to stop doing that and go back to doing my more traditional work, maybe even my silk painting, and sell through traditional galleries and just go back to that. And I really didn't want to give up my YouTube channel. So I looked around at what other artists were doing, and I talked to a couple of other artists, and I was really reluctant to do a Patreon. As a person that struggles with chronic illness, it's a real challenge. It's a little scary to lock yourself into something where people are paying for content and you need to, fulfill their expectations. You want to really produce some good content for them. So anyways, it was scary. We talked about it a lot, and I finally did it, and I'm really proud of myself because I was really nervous and I did put it off for quite a while. So not only have I opened a Patreon account, I have also reopened my Etsy shop, and I am loading, every week I load more images on there of my paintings in my sketchbooks, and I've even added a lot more intuitive work than I have in the past. The fun thing about the Patreon account is I can share on a much more personal level. YouTube got really weird for us last year. We had that GoFundMe fundraiser going, and some of you remember that I was sharing pretty intimately what was happening. I even broke down and cried in certain videos. Well, a neighbor of ours apparently downloaded some of the videos where I was crying and talking about our grief, and shared them with a zoning officer at town hall trying to get our permit for our building taken away. And it was traumatizing. It was horrifying. We couldn't believe that someone would not only do that to us amidst all the grief and loss that we were experiencing, but it was frightening. It was like, okay, that's like a neighbor. That's someone who lives next to us and knows our hearts and knows who we are. What about all the other people out there in the world that we have no clue who they are? So we made the decision that we should stop sharing personal information on YouTube. So I will not be answering any more personal information about the mold situation, about our house, about the tiny house on my regular YouTube channels. I just don't feel safe doing that anymore. But on my Patreon account, I can see who subscribes to that. I know who's in that room, and I feel very comfortable sharing more intimately and showing more of what my life is like as a disabled artist, an artist with a pretty severe chronic illness that at times has me knocked flat and only able to create in my art nest. I think I can show more intimately what that is like and how I keep my creative practice going in my situation, high stress, chronic illness flares, all those things in Patreon. I have so many ideas for things that I'm looking forward to sharing with you. I have stated many times on this channel that I want to get back to doing my more intuitive art. That is definitely a place where I'm going to be posting full-length videos of painting intuitive art. I also, if you guys remember this journal, what would I call it? Magic journal, my Art Heals. And I filled this last summer when we were living in a tent and life was just so incredibly difficult. I would write on one page my gratitudes. I would write on another page a brief statement about what was going on and what my feelings were. And then I would flip to the next page and I would do just really loose paintings and just spontaneous, loose. Most of this book is watercolor, and I really enjoyed it. So spring is coming, and that means that Dawn and I have to get really busy on working on a place for us to live again, which means we need to find the funds to go back to working on the tiny house. He's not as able to work as much anymore. I have to pick up the slack. I have to find a way to get more income. I'm not ready to give up on YouTube yet. So I have another one of these. This is the exact same journal as this. And on my Patreon, I think I'm going to start back up with my daily journaling. I don't know if I will post every day what I put in here, but I'll do like I did last summer. I think every week I did a weekly review of what I had painted in this journal over the week. And I'm going to do it again. I'm going to start that. And I'm really excited about that because this was a very powerful healing tool for me, doing this little very quick practice every day, and it helped move me into my larger creative practice. So that's exciting. That will be something that I'm offering on Patreon. I have 3 levels. There's a my goal was to make these levels so affordable that anybody could afford them. They could even afford a level that's less than a cup of coffee if you go out and purchase a cup of coffee or a donut, or, there's simple analogies that I could use to compare costs, but I wanted it to be really affordable. So we have not been pushing forward the GoFundMe site anymore to raise funds because that got scary for us when the neighbor downloaded some of those videos. So in the Patreon, I'm going to have a $3 level. The first level is just a supporter level. And you can change that amount from $3 to $1 to $10 to $20, whatever you want to change it to, and that is purely for support for people who want to help us get through this difficult time in our lives. The other 2 levels are content-driven levels, meaning you get a return for the money that you put in. There's a $5 level and there's a $10 level. And there's a complete breakdown on my Patreon of what you get for each of those levels. And I've been posting a lot of content on there. Most of the people who have joined so far have chosen the $10 level. There's just a few of us in there so far because I really only announced it. I did that Instagram post. So, I'm going to show more of my sketchbooks in process, like what I'm working on weekly. I don't always show my, just my sort of daily sketching on YouTube. If it's just like scratchy sketching, nothing fabulous sketching, I don't always show that on YouTube, but I am going to show it, do weekly sketchbook reviews. I've been putting a lot of little clips of me working in my art nest. I shared this on Patreon. I don't know if I shared it anywhere else, but I got switched up on some medications that I was taking, and I had a really bad reaction. And I got really, really sick last week. I mean, oh my God, I was so sick, and anxiety and everything. So there were a few days where I was just locked into my art nest. But I picked up the camera and I shot a little bit, and I, nothing fancy, not a lot of editing, but just raw, real, true life stuff of this is where I am right now, and this is what I'm creating in my art nest. And I shared that on Patreon, and it felt so good. I'm feeling very safe to share openly in that space, and I'm very, very excited about the content. It just opens up a lot for me. And so I have my desk. Yesterday I filmed a intuitive art session. I filmed the full session for my top tier Patreon level. I don't know if you can see this because the sun is so bright, but I just used all kinds of things, my tempura sticks, my gelatos. I used my Liquitex paint markers. I used Caran d'Ache Neocolor 2s. I used Stabilos, Derwent ink tints. All the things. I used all the things. It felt really good. It was I don't know, 17 minutes, 20 minutes or something video. And it just showed me, not sped up, just doing the process. That's another thing I think I'm going to do, is I think I'm going to do more slow, full versions of paintings. And then maybe I'll just do the sped up version on YouTube. I will also be doing my flip throughs. When I flip through, it seems like YouTube viewers like the one to music. They like to have it just flip through to music. But on my Patreon, I will be doing flip throughs where I go page by page and tell you what the medium was that I used and what the thought process was behind what I was doing, because I know some people really enjoy that kind of content. So there's so much that's going to be available there, and I just don't have to worry. There's enough stress in our life right now. We have a great deal of financial stress. We don't know how we're going to get through this financially. We don't know how we're going to finish building the tiny house and get out of this house so we can regain our health and our dogs can regain their health. There's so many things where we're just walking in faith, complete and utter faith, because in the real world, it doesn't seem like any of this is going to possibly happen. So I actually have goosebumps. I feel like this ministry of helping people find their creative voice, of helping people figure out how to make an art nest, of letting people know how healing my personal creative practice is for me as someone with chronic illness and chronic pain. I feel like it's such an important message to get out there. And I feel like I was really led to do this Patreon because I did not have faith in myself to do it. I had a lot of fear, but I felt like I was strongly led to do it. I feel like it's a way that I can help my husband out with by me earning more income. I feel like opening my Etsy shop and selling prints at reasonable prices is another way that I can help produce more income. But it's also a way that I can still continue to share my gift of the gift that I have been given by God, the universe, whatever you prefer to call it, of a creative practice, a daily creative practice to get me through hard times. I feel like that is something that I deeply want to continue to share with you guys. So if I can make it work both ways, if I can have it help with the income, and I can keep going it to bless myself and bless others, it's a win-win all the way. So I hope that you are as excited as I am about this new journey in the sharing, the more personal sharing that can happen there. Even as far as art supply hauls, I'm going to do more testing there. I do like a swatching on YouTube, and so it may just be the sped up swatching, but I maybe do more experimenting with, well, what happens if you mix this with this medium and that medium, and use this medium on top of mixed media pieces. I'm really looking forward to doing more exploratory stuff with you there. So I will post the link to my Patreon below. It doesn't cost anything to go check out. I do still need to make an intro video for that. I have been so busy the last few days, last few weeks, and then I had that glitch with not feeling good from the medication that I'm feeling a little swamped. But I got the Patreon up. I do plan on trying to figure out Discord. I have started a Discord account. I need to connect it to my Patreon. I got to figure that out. That will eventually be a place where my Patreon members and they can communicate with each other and show each other work. I believe this is how it works. I can share with you guys and you can share with me. So I think like if we pick a drawing to draw or a painting to do, or I do an intuitive painting, if I'm understanding Discord right, then you guys can post pictures of what your version is or what you're up to. I would love that because I would love more of a two-way conversation. That may take me a little bit time to figure out. Lots of new stuff on Etsy, so I'll put the link to my Etsy shop down below, so go check that out. And just thank you guys for supporting me in whatever way that you're able. I realize that there are some people that will say they don't have $5 a month to join or $10 a month to join, and I get it. I really get it. This is a very tricky financial time for us. It's a time of financial challenge that we did not foresee we would be in, because when Don was working, we were comfortable. We weren't wealthy, but we were comfortable. And that has changed dramatically with his being sick and not being able to work, and then me being retired from my art gallery career. But I just feel so full of hope that this is going to work and that it's going to be a blessing for you guys that choose to join, and it's going to be a blessing for me, and it's going to be a blessing for my husband. So, I hope you can celebrate with me, and I hope you'll go check out the links to my Etsy shop and to my Patreon. I'll continue to add new prints to my Etsy shop as I'm able. I have to be careful to try to balance rest and work, even though I'm so excited about all of this and I want to sort of plunge forward and produce tons of content. I do have to be careful that I don't crash. Post-exertional malaise is a real thing, as anybody out there with an autoimmune disease or a chronic health condition knows. We have to weigh out our energy. There's a thing called spoonies, where it's a great story. I won't get into it here, but you're given so many spoons to use throughout the day, and if you use all your spoons, there's no energy left for you to do anything. And you can't give from a well that's run dry. If you wear yourself out, you can't give to others nourishment and sustenance to others. So I am trying to balance that. I'm just so excited about these new things and being able to be a financial blessing to my husband that I'm feeling the need to push some stuff out there. So this intuitive painting session will be going up on Patreon very soon. Part 2 of the Paul Rubens neon color watercolors is coming, and that is that beautiful butterfly painting that you will see me paint in next Friday. There's so much content that's coming up for you guys on both YouTube and in Patreon and Instagram. Connect with me on Instagram too. All those links are below my videos every week. So there's usually a lot of information below my videos every week. If you click the more button, you can read, there's links to the art supplies I use. There's links to my Facebook art page, my Instagram page, Etsy, my website, and now Patreon. So there's all kinds of information under there. So I hope that I can continue to be a blessing to you guys. Yeah, come celebrate with me. I'm so excited. I just hope that it blesses all of you too. Mwah. Thank you for all your support in whatever way you're supporting me. Even, your likes, you're clicking like and subscribing on YouTube is a blessing. Clicking affiliate links when you place orders with either Blick or Amazon, it's a blessing. You're all supporting and blessing me in your own ways, in whatever way that you're able. So and I'm not leaving YouTube. I just don't want you to fear that I'm leaving YouTube. I may just cut back on the content because the length of the videos have been so long that a lot of my viewers drop off before the end of the video, and that really harms the analytics. So I think the YouTube audience may actually prefer shorter videos, and then the ones that prefer the longer, more detailed videos can just come on over to Patreon. All right, guys, this has been so rambly. I have no idea how long I have rambled on here because I can't see the little timer thing on my phone, but I'm sure I've rambled a long time. I hope I remember to mention everything that I wanted to mention. Yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to it. God bless you guys, and thank you for all of your support. And maybe I'll see you over on Patreon. If not, I'll see you next Friday on YouTube or on Instagram. Bye-bye.